excellent match between Doug and young Elf. And I look to see Elf just filling that spot next year, the year after, or whenever Doug decides to hang up the boots. Who we got coming up in this match?
100 kilos. Lou Red is from the London Amateur Wrestling Club, a student in engineering at University of Western Ontario, Dave Shaver, 20 years old. And at 22 years of age, from the University of Calgary, John Matile.
Oh, two Canadians.
Yes, and Matile's in phys ed.
It's good to see.
He was third in the 1987 Senior National Championships in Canada.
So we've got two up-and-comers here.
That's right. And Shaver's just a junior still. But with Ray Takahashi as coach at the University of Western Ontario, will probably have some good technical skill.
Well, there's an example of his technical skills. At a double underhook, he caught John Matile leaning and swept to the mat.
Lou, maybe you'd want to comment on Shaver's coach, Takahashi, a three-time Olympian, and maybe talk a little bit about that kind of foot trip and sweep that you saw there. Well,
as you know, Ray came to wrestling with an outstanding judo background. He's from a judo family, and you'll see that basic judo foot sweep type technique with all his wrestlers, because as you remember, Ray was famous for it. Of course, Ray was famous for every move around. He was an excellent wrestler and represented Canada very, very well for a number of years. And it's just great to see these guys that went through the system coming back now and doing such an outstanding job at coaching.
Well, that's what we need to have. Coaches, not like you and I that were high school teachers and then became wrestling coaches. We have now more and more across the country wrestlers who become wrestling coaches, and I think the technical level of our whole program is just progressing geometrically.
I agree. Now Ray Takahashi's wrestler Dave Shaver is ahead 3-0. There's an excellent penetration for a heavier wrestler. He's in deep on the leg, but Dave Shaver manages to get the hips in. Now John Matile is in a disadvantageous position. Look at his head position here. Very difficult to score from that position when your head's that close to the mat, unless he can get in tighter and get his head and shoulders up more. Now you see Dave is countered by taking the crotch. Up comes John. That's a good power move.
Gee, Dave took the pressure off the head there and allowed John to pop through.
He sure did. He leaned over. He should have stayed back heavy on the head. Now John Matile's behind and has scored a point. The score is 3-1 for Dave Shaver. And John can easily tie this up with a quick tilt here.
Lou, just on the side here, Shaver's coach, John Matile.
And there's the tilt. Excuse me, Frank. There was the gut wrench, and he's over for 2 points. We now have a 3-3 tie.
Matile's coach is Clive Llewellyn out at University of Calgary, and of course,
I remember that name.
You used to coach him in high school.
Yeah, Clive was with us for 4 years, and an outstanding Olympic wrestler as well as Ray. He went through the system at the same time as Ray Takahashi.
So we're seeing the products of their efforts as wrestlers and now as coaches here on the mat in terms of Shaver and Matile.
There's another good penetration by John Matile, but I sometimes wonder about the heavyweight wrestlers, and you and I have had this discussion, heavyweight wrestlers shooting leg takedowns to their knees, and you end up with a couple of 100 pounds on your back.
Well, these guys are better athletes, I think, than maybe some of the people we used to comment about. They're much more mobile.
Good counter by Dave Shaver.
And that's a decent point.
Excellent counter. Scored a couple of points. The score is now 6-3 for Dave. I think he's trying to set it up again, the same move, but John Matile's not going to go for it 2 times in a row. Now we have Dave trying the gut wrench. Didn't have his hips in quite tight enough, and we're in the 1-minute break. The score is now 7-3 for Dave Shaver of the University of Western Ontario wrestling team.
Well, we're focused in here on John Matile from the University of Calgary. If you can believe this, Lou, he says his main hobby and interest is self-indulgence. Yeah. I think, a little tongue-in-cheek, but he's also involved in canoeing. And
such a good upper body development.
And he's being coached right now by John Parks, also a former wrestler who's now a coach.
Well, I heard a rumor yesterday, and it probably is just a rumor at this stage of the game, that John Matile is moving to Toronto to wrestle with John next year at the Twist and Shout Wrestling Club. You know, have you heard anything about that?
I've heard the same rumor, and I guess maybe what I understand is the University of Calgary is planning on dropping the program out there. And so perhaps he's moving east here to get some coaching and also to have himself involved in a very intense program with great competitive opportunities.
Well, I think it's terrific that young aspiring wrestlers in Canada have got choices. They can move across the country to various centers and still get excellent coaching. Now, we have John Matile with what I call a good heavyweight leg position. He wasn't in on his knees. He's got the leg up in the air, but hasn't really committed himself. Didn't finish it off all that well.
Nice hip position by Shaver.
Very nice hip position. Unlike earlier when he leaned over, he kept the head down that time, kept the pressure on the head, and prevented John Matile from finishing that single. Now, here's what I call good heavyweight wrestling. Good upper body control. Look for the leg pickup. Excellent move. Excellent move.
That's another Takahashi.
That was a race special all the way. John Matile stuck that underhook in, and Dave Shaver took the arm and the head and hit it just at the perfect timing. For a three-point move, the score is now 9-4.
Shaver moving his hips really well in the bottom, Lou, and Matile just not able to get mount any kind of offensive ground attack.
You're right, Dave. Dave is very aware of where he is and what he has to do.
I like the way he conserved his energy down there, too. Didn't flail. He looks in a little bit better shape than Matile right now.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's suffering all that much. And usually with the kind of action we've had in this heavier weight, 100 kilos, they're big boys out there. They burn up a lot of energy and usually get a little more fatigued. These guys are in very good condition. I'm glad to see that at this time of year. Now, Dave almost got caught there. You see what he did? He took that big step, and his weight was on his back foot. And he almost got thrown. You've got to be careful out there when you're moving around that you don't take those long steps and get your weight shifted onto the one foot.
Oh, there's that. Look at that hip.
Yeah.
Another foot trip.
Another foot trip, and this time he got it for a three-pointer. Excellent move by Dave. Good heavyweight technique, Frank.
Well, I think it's outstanding. Dave Matile seems to have given up on making that kind of leg attack where he gets himself extended and tired. And Shaver's very comfortable upper body here.
And that just, again, shows you the versatility of Ray Takahashi as a coach. And here's a wrestler who's wrestled as a lightweight all his life at the 52, 57 kilo weight, and he's got a heavyweight out there representing him very, very well. Excellent coaching technique.
Joey, look at this.
Good penetration there.
I'm impressed with this Shaver, Lou. I mean, there was a situation with a lead. He could have given up the point, turns around, faces him, and now we're into maintained his position. No points scored there. They were out of bounds, and there was no exposure. The score is now 12-4 for Dave Shaver of University of Western Ontario, leading John Matile of the University of Calgary. John Matile's a well-put-together guy. Big. Yeah, he's solid in the upper body. And I think, with a little more work and some good coaching, I think you're seeing a lot of potential there. And when he gets down here into Southern Ontario, he'll get that opportunity to compete and train. He sure will. Lots of wrestlers in his weight class around here. Now the referee has called for a caution on blue. Just as he hit an attempt at a shoulder throw, he got called for a caution. But the referee was asking for the caution before the move. So Dave Shaver has the choice. He elects to put John Matile down on the mat. Now he has an opportunity to turn him and increase his lead. But at this stage of the game with a lead of 12-4, I don't know if he's going to work all that hard at the turn. No, and whatever he does will be safe on it. Absolutely. If he's using the proper strategy here, he won't put himself in jeopardy to turn his own back towards the mat because, even at this late in the match and with a lead of 12-4, so easy to attempt something and get caught on your back. And how long, Lou, before maybe you should point that out to the viewers on how long it takes to pin someone?
Well, you have to, if the back is flat on the mat for a full second, it's all over.
That's it.
That's it.
And even if Shaver was winning 12-4, 1 second on his back, and that would be the end of the match.
It's all over. That's why you have to be careful. And time has expired, and Dave Shaver is the winner by a 12-4 score.
From the University of Western Ontario.
UWO takes home a bronze medal from Canada Cup 88. Congratulations to Dave, and congratulations to his coach, Ray Takahashi.
Now, we talked about wrestling the heavyweights. The next match is the guys are 130 kilos plus.